Ladies and gentlemen, presiding over these exercises is Dr. Wallace Lowe, President of the University of Maryland.
Good evening. Welcome to the 2016 Spring Commencement exercises of the University of Maryland. Commencement marks the start of a new chapter in the lives of our graduates. Commencement is also a wistful farewell, spoken in words of endearment by the university to our graduates and by our graduates to their alma mater. We will begin with a moment of reflection delivered by the Reverend Holly Ulmer, chaplain of the United Campus Ministry. Her remarks will be followed by the singing of the national anthem, led by Chelsea Davidson. She's graduating this semester with a master's degree in vocal performance. And she's a member of the Maryland Opera Studio, and she will be accompanied by the Maryland Wind Ensemble, directed by Craig Potter. Could you please stand for the reflections and the national anthem?
Acknowledging the beautiful diversity in this assembly, we have come together from different secular, spiritual, and religious backgrounds for a singular purpose: to celebrate with joy the accomplishments of our graduates at this main commencement at the University of Maryland. We're so very proud of you, our graduating students. Some of us send prayers. All of us, from our hearts, extend to you our love, good wishes, and great encouragement as you now stand on the threshold of a new adventure, the next chapter in your life. Your unique callings and contributions are very much needed. A life calling, quoting Frederick Buechner, is the place where your deep gladness meets the world's deep hunger. In the midst of excitement, there is also uncertainty. What kind of future will all of us walk into? What kind of future will we create together? In an era of unprecedented rapid change and globalization, building walls between us and those who are different from us is not the answer. Many wisdom traditions advocate welcoming the stranger, learning to cultivate compassion and understanding for the well-being of those who are most vulnerable among us at home and abroad is intimately connected to the well-being of us all and the precious peace of our world. In a time in history when the ecology of the planet is threatened as never before, taking care of our little corner of the world is not the answer. Cooperation at a scale we have never achieved before will be needed to find crucial answers, to share resources, and to save our planet. In an era when fear is becoming the order of the day due to economic instability, terrorism, racial tensions, and ignorance, giving birth to more fear or violence is not the answer. Quoting the great American Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Our greatest enemy is fear. May we all, whether through secular core values or spiritual practices, choose to overcome injustice and oppression and intentionally live out the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Dear graduates, much is being asked of you. Indeed, much is being asked of us all. What is needed now more than ever in this moment is courage. Be brave in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and wherever your life callings take you. Find your strength in the power of community, in the interconnectedness of the global village, and may you be blessed, blessed with resilience, humility, wisdom, and hope in this shining moment and always. And speaking on behalf of our diverse university chaplains, may the loving Creator be with you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light that so proudly we hail, and twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming on the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, safe as that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Go Terps!
Please be seated. Reverend Omer, thank you for your thoughtful and inspiring and wise words. Much appreciated. And Chelsea, thank you for your energetic, inspired rendition of our national anthem. You have a heavenly voice. Now, you should know that Chelsea, right after graduation, is off to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where she is joining this very prestigious artistic program of the Santa Fe Opera. Which is a first step towards a professional career as an opera singer. And thank you to the University of Maryland Wind Ensemble. Now, seated on the front rows here are the seniors who are serving as the marshals of this evening's commencement exercise. They are outstanding students. They've been recommended by their departments because of their academic performance as well as their contributions to student life. So student marshals, will you please stand up to be recognized? to help educate and support and mentor our 38,000 students at this university, we have almost 10,000 faculty and staff. And some of them are here this evening to join us to salute our graduates. So let me begin by first asking the faculty who are here. Many of them, of course, will be attending the ceremonies of the individual colleges, but those who are here tonight, would you please stand up to be recognized? By the way, in addition to, they are all educators. They are all part of the mission of education. But this year, I'm really pleased to welcome to commencement the commanders of our ROTC programs, Army, Navy, and Air Force. Thank you for being here. I believe you're commissioning our graduates as second lieutenant sometime this week. Is that correct? Great. Congratulations. No officers. We also have this evening, for the first time, and I'm so glad that you're here, we have representatives of our athletic coaches, because they too are educators. They educate on the field, in the court, and in the classroom, and in the community. We have the head coach of football, the head coach of men's basketball, the head coach of men's soccer, the head coach of softball, and the head coach of tennis. Thank you for coming. The reason I think it's so important to recognize and that we have some here to be with us for commencement is because of the very important work of education of a university. You know, rather recently I was on a plane flying across the country, and I had the misfortune of being seated next to a very loquacious business person. And he was going on and on talking to me about his business deals, his mergers, his acquisitions. Then finally he said, "So, what business are you in?" Me? Well, I am in the immortality business. Oh, so you are a preacher? I said, no, I'm an educator. I'm in the business of education, of helping to transform people's lives, to communicate new knowledge, new ideas, new values to the next generation. And they will then communicate to their children and their children's children. The impact of an educator, of a teacher, stretches to eternity. We are in the immortality business. Now, every generation has its own rendezvous with destiny. Every generation has its own opportunity for greatness. And I would like to recognize now a very special group of alumni who have marched into Xfinity Center tonight. The Golden Terps, who graduated in 1996, 50 years ago. Would you please stand? Oh, it's 60. I am told that the difference between 2016 and 1996 is 60 years. Well, you know, I was never very good at math. But still, 60 years. Thank you for coming back to your alma mater. Is it 50 or 60? Is there a math? Just take the difference between 2016 and 1996. Whatever that number is, we're here too. Well, all I can say is when you left this campus in 1996, it was a time of... Oh, 1966. I get it. All right. It's no wonder I flunked arithmetic in school. In 1966, when you graduated, this was a time of ferment across the country with anti-war protests. And 50 years later, as the class of 2016 goes out, campuses around the country are also convulsed with activism and student protests for social and racial justice. But changes have occurred over the past 50 years. And it's worth pointing out those changes. Right here in College Park, in March of 1966, the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship was held at Cole Fieldhouse. And you will remember that Texas Western University played the powerhouse University of Kentucky. Texas Western had a starting lineup of all African Americans, the first time in the history of collegiate basketball. And they defeated Kentucky. I want to thank Kevin Anderson. I want to thank our athletic department for bringing Texas Western to the campus to recognize them last February. That victory shattered the color line in college sports. 1966, when you graduated, the National Organization of Women was formed. And today, 50 years later, a woman is running for president of the United States. There have been changes. And the final one that I will mention, you may recall that in 1966, Cuba declared martial law because they feared an American invasion. Well, let me tell you today, Americans are invading Cuba on cruise ships and airlines. Thousands of American tourists are coming to Cuba. Times have changed. So when I reflect upon that, I just wonder, when the class of 2016 comes back to Infinity Center 50 years later, 2066, will you and I be here to welcome them? I hope so. But if not, my predecessor standing here, I'm sure that my my successor, whoever he or she is, will be very proud of your support, your commitment, and your contributions to the your alma mater, as has been demonstrated by the class of 1966. Thank you very much for being with us, Golden Terps. So, look, this is graduation. The purpose of today's ceremony is to award you your degrees. But as I look at the program, you know, we have a lot of speakers, myself included. So I'm mindful of what a Catholic priest once said to me. He said, the speaker at a commencement ceremony is like the body at an old-fashioned Irish wake. They need you to have a party, but they don't expect you to say very much. I'm also mindful that you're here to get a diploma. A diploma is the reward you get for staying in school. A long commencement ceremony should not be the punishment that you get for staying in school. So mindful of that, our first speaker is Barry Gossett, Vice Chair of the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, a proud, loyal, generous Terp who graduated from here with a degree in business. Mr. Gossett.
Well, with that, maybe I should just say Wausau and sit down, huh? But good evening. I know on the way in here I saw a lot of excited Terps, so congratulations. You know, along with my 16 fellow regents at the University System of Maryland, please accept our sincere congratulations on your graduation. It is the next important step in life's journey toward immortality. We also recognize President Wallace Lowe, who continues to provide tremendous leadership in our wonderful flagship institution. The University of Maryland is a force in education, research and discovery, and public service. It stands as one of the finest universities in the country and in the world. And as your strategic partnership with the medical and professional schools at the University of Maryland, Baltimore expands, your impact will only intensify. Now, many alumni tell me they do not remember who their commencement speaker was or what they said. However, this is a different day. A person who I admire greatly is your commencement speaker. Kevin Plank, founder and CEO of Under Armour and proud Terps, always speaks great words, delivering wonderful messages, so listen up, no texting. Most importantly, however, we recognize and congratulate you, the class of 2016. What you have accomplished has taken hard work, persistence, dedication, and a whole lot of support. Your family and friends take a lot of pride in your accomplishments. They have shared and sacrificed with you. So share the success with them. It's important to both of you. Today you graduate from an institution recognized for excellence. Your life may change and take a different direction with new challenges, but your education has prepared you well to confront and accept these challenges with confidence. So whatever you next do, embrace it and have some fun. Once again, congratulations to all of you and the best wishes in the years to come, and go Terps!
Thank you, Regent Gossett. Now, I would like to introduce some of the members of the platform party who are seated behind me. They represent the leadership of the university. Let me see who's here. All right. Do we have Regent Rob here? No. Okay. So, I'm going to start with the vice presidents. Mary Ann Rankin, Senior Vice President and Provost, who's a biologist. By the way, please hold off your applause until I finish all of them, or else we're going to be here till midnight. Linda Clement, Vice President for Student Affairs, and she's also a Terp, got her PhD in counseling here at Maryland. Carlo Colella, Vice President for Administration and Finance, another Terp, got his degree in civil engineering here at Maryland. Eric Dena, Vice President for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer. Patrick O'Shea, Vice President for Research. He's a physicist from Ireland and, of course, a graduate from the University of Maryland. Peter Weiler, Vice President for University Relations. Mike Potarella, who's the Vice President for Legal Affairs and General Counsel and is my lawyer to get me out of trouble. Since you and I are probably the only two lawyers on this platform, is that correct? Who? Oh, Lucy Doggett is just a lawyer too. But you know, I should say something because there's a difference between him and me, you should know. He's a real lawyer. Me, I'm a public interest lawyer. That means it's in the public interest that I don't practice law. Thank you, Mike. Kumea Shorter Gooden, Associate Vice President and Chief Diversity Officer. Is Kevin Anderson here? Okay, so I know he was out of town doing what he should do, raise money, so he's probably still on the plane. Or maybe he's with that donor trying to extract that additional dollar. Martha Nell Smith, who is the University Marshal, Professor of English, a scholar in Emily Dickinson. So, Martha, have you read all 1,789 poems of Emily Dickinson?
I have.
You have, wow.
I read her mail too. I read her letters too.
That is very impressive. Patrick Ronk. He's a senior in graduating today, of course, in politics and government, and two-time president of the undergraduate student government. Now, I'm gonna make a fearless prediction. In 15 or 20 years, he will be in high elected office in the state of Maryland. You're gonna do that, right? All right. Be fearless. Deborah Hemingway, she is a PhD student in biophysics. She's also serving her second term as president of graduate student government. Where are you, Deborah? Oh, there you are. And she is the mother of a 4-week-old adorable baby, William. Who's taking care of William right now? Who's taking care of William? Good. Wanda Alexander, the president of our Maryland Alumni Association, and she'll speak later in the program. Emmy Eichhorst, executive director of the University of Maryland Alumni Association. Willie Brown, who's director of information technology and human resources in one of the colleges and an outstanding chair of the University Senate. Where are you? Thank you for your service, Willie. And all the university deans, would you please stand in unison? They will introduce themselves individually later on. And now, you may applaud all of them. And now I would like to introduce the finalists for the University Medal, which is the highest honor that the University of Maryland bestows on a senior. And it's awarded to someone who personifies academic distinction, great character, and contributions beyond academics. In fact, we have 4 finalists, and they all embody those qualities. So I would like to ask the finalists, would you please come onto the stage? So come on up, stand close, and you know, we're going to do a little Oprah Winfrey here. First of all, you should know that these are amazing students. My script says that they all have perfect or near perfect academic records. Now, I know what perfect is. So what is near perfect? So I know some of you are near perfect. Is that a 3.999? Whatever it is. We're going to find out. I also know that your accomplishments here make your parents proud. Your parents and family members, they're here today? Okay, all right, you point them out at the right time, and will the parents and family members of these finalists please stand up, okay? So let me begin. We'll begin with Adip Bhargav. Come on up here. Where are your parents?
I think they're somewhere over there.
Somewhere over there, okay. This guy majored in neurobiology and physiology, and he minored in French. And he had a 4-point GPA. So tell me, in addition to just studying, what else did you do when you were here? Get close to the mic.
Yeah, so I took a lot of trips abroad, and I went
Oh.
to Eastern Europe, Moldova, to do medical volunteering at their medical school. So that was one cool thing I was able to do at Maryland.
And where is Moldova? Is that in South America?
No, Eastern Europe.
Oh, in Eastern Europe. I failed geography too in school. All right. So, what are your plans after you graduate?
I'll be starting medical school in July at Mayo Clinic.
Oh, wonderful. Well, congratulations. And hold on. I'm going to give you this little token. It's a Maryland bow tie.
Thank you.
Congratulations. By the way, a word about this bow tie. You know, some of you may remember during exam time, I go to the residence halls and I hand out cookies. And 2 years ago, this student came up to me and said, "Thank you for the cookie. I'd like to give you a present." And she gave me this bow tie. I said, "Wow, that's so nice. Where did you buy it?" She says, "I make it in my dorm in Prince Frederick Hall. I have a business making bow ties." Kevin, let me tell you, in 20 years, Esther O, who's graduating today in business, she will be the female Kevin Plank in Maryland. Jessica Liu. And are your parents somewhere here? Can you see them with the lights in your eyes? Oh, they're right there. All right. So, what are you majoring in?
Economics and government and politics.
Oh, very good. And did you also go to Moldova or some other exotic place?
I went to Israel and Jordan.
Oh, and what did you do in Israel and Jordan?
I studied global philanthropy and nonprofit organizations.
Oh, wonderful. And so, what do you plan to do after graduation?
I'll be working at the Federal Reserve Board of Governors.
Oh, wonderful, Jessica. So, I'm not giving her a bow tie, I'm giving her a hair bow.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anika McGinnis. Hello, Anika. So, you are from where?
Columbia, Maryland.
Columbia, Maryland. And are your parents here?
Yeah, they are.
Where are they?
Right there.
Oh, they're Oh, I see. And that younger girl, is that your sister?
Yeah, that's my sister.
And what's your sister doing here? I mean, like, what year is she in school?
She's a senior in high school right now, but she's coming to the University of Maryland next year.
All right. What a smart family. And what does your father do, by the way?
He's also a professor here in
He's a
science
profe-
education.
Wow. You are a professor at the University of Maryland. Wonderful. And how long has he been a professor here?
22 years.
22 years. You have Terp genes. So tell me then. So after you, what are you majoring in?
Journalism, international development, and French.
And French. Wow. So what are you going to do after you graduate?
I'm going to accept a Global Health Corps fellowship in Uganda.
In Uganda. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh. And here's a hair bow for you. That was a hair bow. And now, for the 2016 University medalists, I'm pleased to present to you Iowas Chu. Would you please come forward? Congratulations. And where are your parents?
Over there, with everyone else.
All right. And your younger brother too, right?
I don't have to.
Okay. Now, I am told that you have multiple majors and multiple minors. So what are your multiple majors? And we're not going to be here all evening for them, right?
I majored in biochemistry and cell biology.
And your minors?
I completed minors in statistics, technology entrepreneurship, and public leadership.
Wow. And I'm told that you led some student teams. Could you just say something about the teams, and you got a gold medal for that, or the team did?
So I was a leader of the UMaryland iGEM team, which runs synthetic biology projects here in Maryland. It's student run, so I was also the PI, so it was really cool. And we were able to go to the Jamboree in Boston and won 2 gold medals, so two years in a row.
Wow, that is very impressive. And so, what are you going to do after this?
I'll be starting MD PhD training at UC San Francisco this fall.
Now, I've got to ask you a question. You have a rather distinctive name, Iowis. I've never heard anybody else called Iowis. Is there some significance to that name?
It comes from a combination of Iowa and Wisconsin. They're where my parents got their graduate degrees when they came here from China.
So they got degrees from Iowa and Wisconsin, and obviously you spent time in Iowa and Wisconsin. So I gotta ask you this, at some point you're gonna marry, you're gonna have children. What will your first child be called?
Well, if it's a girl, we'll call her Mary, definitely.
And if it is a boy?
I'll think about it.
Well, may I make a suggestion on what to call him? If you are Iowis, how about Ma Iowis?
I'll think about it.
All right. So we'll give you your medal. Congratulations. And I'll give you. So, you can sit down. So at each commencement, we invite a student to deliver an address to the graduating class. There is a committee of seniors that chooses the student commencement speaker. And this evening, I'm pleased to introduce Rachel George. Where is Rachel? Come on up, come on up. So Rachel, your parents are here too, I assume? Where are they? Oh, all right. And where are they from, or where are you from?
Columbia.
Speaking to the mic.
Columbia, Maryland.
Wonderful.
Woo!
You should know that Rachel is another one of those students with a perfect GPA. And what did you major in?
English and marketing.
Oh, you had two areas. And look, you had people going to Israel and Moldavia, wherever that place is. Now, did you go to some equally, interesting place?
Yes, I went to Ecuador this past summer.
Oh, así que usted habla español.
Un poquito sí.
Ah, muy bien. Huh? And what did you do in Ecuador?
We consulted with local communities and we gave eye exams and sold health products.
And what are you going to do after graduation?
I will be going back to Ecuador and Peru to film a video on the disability programs that Study Abroad is running there.
Wonderful. So I'm proud to present to you Rachel George.
It is easy to feel lost in a big school. As a coffee-powered undergrad, I spent my first years at Maryland using other people's choices as the model for my own. Though I've always had a love for social justice, in college, I chose to focus on my interests in marketing and design. Towards the end of my junior year, I was on my way to landing a business school internship until I came across a different opportunity. A summer position in Ecuador, working for a nonprofit. Suddenly, I was conflicted. Ecuador had little to do with my career plans at the time, but I could not get it out of my mind. Time was flying, deadlines were looming, and so I did what any independent college adult would do. I called my parents. I remember being on that phone call, nearly in tears over the frustration of feeling like I was choosing between what I should do and what I wanted to do. I kept hashing over the pros and cons, driving myself further and further from a decision until my father cut me off. "Sweetheart," he said, "you have to go with your passion." In that simplicity, I knew my choice. I spent that summer in Ecuador, a hemisphere away from home, speaking Spanish, eating guinea pig, and giving eye exams in rural villages. I worked alongside Camilo, a 27-year-old Venezuelan man whose teenage sister had been murdered, whose family had survived 5 kidnappings, whose father had faced off with an armed gang. Camilo is the only one of his family to have been able to leave Venezuela. The rest of them are still there, and he talks to them every day. At this moment, Camilo's in the Dominican Republic, working to create financial opportunities for small communities. He cannot return home right now, but he is committed to fighting the poverty and the violence that he knew himself growing up, committed to making a difference no matter where he lives. At this point, you're probably expecting me to say that Ecuador changed my life, but the reality is that I was only there for 2 months. As soon as I stepped off the plane back onto US soil, I could feel myself slipping back into my comfort zone. By the time a week had passed, I'd stopped rushing through my showers so as to save the heat and the water. It terrifies me that I could so quickly become comfortable again with comfort. And that's when I began to realize that leaving my comfort zone just once means very little. For many of us, our life thus far has been one defined by linear either-or choices: grade school, high school, work, college. Now we're here, graduating, and there isn't a clear next step. This class of 7,000 is taking 7,000 different next steps. And we have some choices of our own now to make. In the days to come, there will be times where we have to decide whether to rock the boat. In those times, will we choose to stay comfortable in what we know, or will we choose to stand for what we care about, something that makes us feel uncomfortable, agitated, passionate? Will we choose to be complacent, or will we choose to act on the problems threatening our family, our society, our country, our world? I have spent the last 4 years continually impressed in the talent in the people around me. I have seen that this group of a few thousand people has the power to affect millions. But what we have done so far is just the beginning compared to what we will do. Whether we become activists fighting for criminal justice reform, advocates spreading awareness for mental health, engineers designing systems for renewable energy, teachers working long hours for our students, or just people who make the effort to be kind and thoughtful to every person that we meet. We become those people through the everyday choices that we make. We become those people by choosing to be uncomfortable, choosing to defy norms, and choosing to think about who we are and how we treat the people in our lives. That is how we will actually make America great again. That is how we will make the world great. I'd like to close with one last story of my dad. My dad never hesitates to share his wisdom. Growing up, my siblings and I would hear, "Respect your mother. Stay off the grass. Don't be on your cell phone while you cross the street. Always keep your receipts for tax time. And this: the world should be a better place because you were in it. I want my father's mantra to be my own. I want to live up to the reputation of the University of Maryland as producing graduates who cause ripples, disrupt industries, and challenge conventions. People who change their world for the better in both big and small ways. The world is a better place because people like Camilo are in it. The world should be a better place because we are in it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. For you, I will break all the rules and you can talk for as long as you want. Your energy and your spirit uplifts us all. Now I have the pleasure of introducing a musical selection. It is Shenandoah by Frank Takili, performed by the University of Maryland Wind Ensemble, conducted by Anthony Rivera, who is graduating today with a degree in Doctor in Musical Arts. Thank you, Maryland Wind Ensemble, for that beautiful performance of Shenandoah. We are indeed very fortunate at this university to have such talented artists, student musicians. You greatly enrich the cultural life of our community. We are a little bit less than halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway through our program. And I'm going to do something I've never done before. That's because the Dean of our School of Public Health, Jane Clark, she told me the other day, she said, sitting is the new smoking. You've been sitting now for about an hour. I think you should get up and shake it up a bit. Because, you know, it's not good to sit for so long. That's what Jane Clark says. Is that correct, Jane?
That's correct.
That's her specialty. So may I just suggest that everybody get up? Everybody. The platform party, the students, people in the stands. All right. So I think let's all do this together. Let's everybody take one step to the left, to your left. Now take one step to your right. Very good. Now you may sit down. I'm sure you all feel better. But I also want you to be able to go back home and tell your friends, your families, that you came to University of Maryland commencement exercises. You heard the president of the university, and he moved you. Actually, that was a warm-up for the main part of our commencement program, and that is the introduction of our commencement speaker. And for that, I call Brenda Shaw to the podium. Brenda, you are majoring in?
Neurobiology and physiology.
Very good. And so you will introduce Kevin Plank.
Sir?
Thank you.
Hey everyone. So, as a very proud Baltimore native, it gives me such pleasure to introduce Mr. Kevin Plank at the University of Maryland Class of 2016 main commencement ceremony. From the self-proclaimed sweatiest guy on the football field to the founder and CEO of Under Armour, Kevin Plank has shown how much an entrepreneur can accomplish. Back when he was captain of the Terps special teams, he saw 7 teammates being rushed to the emergency room for severe dehydration. He knew there had to be better athletic apparel, and he began to search. The result was his revolutionary, form-fitting sportswear that wicks away sweat and helps regulate your body temperature. Success took time, though, but after 20 years, Under Armour has become an international brand, generating $5 billion in revenue just this year alone, which I think is very impressive. In the process, Kevin Plank has changed the way athletes dress, including the Terps, whose uniforms he designed. Kevin's commitment and service to the alma mater transcends athletics, though. To inspire the next generation of business, creativity, and innovation, he supports activities at the Robert H. Smith School of Business. His Cupid's Cup competition has grown to national scale and helped launch many promising new firms. He has also become the leading private contributor to the renovations of Cole Fieldhouse, which will now house the Academy of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, major research, and advanced athletic facilities. In Baltimore, though, Kevin plays an active role in the business and community life, and he serves on major community boards and supports a wide variety of philanthropies. I could sit here all day listing them. His work has made Baltimore and the University of Maryland better places. He makes me proud to call both my home. So there's a video. Please join me in welcoming the 2016 University of Maryland Commencement speaker, Mr. Kevin Plank.
Wonderful, Brenda. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. So, President Lowe, I mean, this is a show, Wallace. Well done. Our faculty, staff, honored guests, alumni, parents, students, coaches, families, and friends, and especially to you, the 2016 graduating class of the University of Maryland. On behalf of all of us, I want to say congratulations and I want to say thank you. Thank you for this incredible honor to be here with you on this day as you head into truly the most exciting phase of your life. I'm just like you, and as always, I will be an extremely proud graduate of this university. Way to go, 2016. You know, coming back here after 20 years, because it was 1996 when I graduated, this is definitely one of those pinch me moments. Wallace, not 66. This is one of those moments where you get to come back and do something great and to share it with so many Terps. I just am so proud and so appreciative, and I want to thank all of you for that opportunity. Because my time here at Maryland was special. And unlike most of you graduating today, I love this university so much, I actually spent 5 years here getting through to this table. It was 20 years ago. I was the one sitting where you are today, wearing my cap and gown, fidgeting in my seat, only half listening to the commencement address that was delivered, I'd say, by someone who is today running for president. A small hint for that. It was the candidate who does not use the word huge in conversation. It was Hillary Clinton. I was 23 years old. I thought that I knew it all. So yeah, I get it. You're sitting there, you're wondering, what am I going to learn from this guy? The last thing I want to be here today for you is yet another grown-up telling you that I've got it all figured out, because I can promise you, and let me be clear here, I don't, and I certainly don't by a long shot. And if the last 20 years has taught me one thing, it's how little I actually do know, because of how much I know is out there still for all of us to go learn. But I'm going to ask you for this. Put your phones away, or at least put them on camera mode, and just give me about 16 more minutes, and I'm going to get through and get you guys to your diplomas and your degrees. Because I want to tell you one thing. I want to leave you with one message today. Because when people are asking me if I remember my commencement speaker, I absolutely do. But But do I remember the message? I don't. So today we're going to hammer that home. And in that time passing, 20 years ago, having been a college student, I've done a number of different things. I graduated where you sit today. I've been the founder of a startup company, eventually the CEO of a public company that just happens to be the baddest sports brand on the planet. Just saying. But what I want to talk about today is a single word. But it's more than that, really. It's an entity. It's a force. What I want to talk to you about today is one very simple word. It's passion. It's passion. It's passion. 20 years ago, I was a UMD graduate with an idea that I'd hatched as a student right here in College Park. That idea was for a totally different kind of a t-shirt. One that was stretchy, light, tight, and resistant to sweat. At the time, of course, I had not one bit of experience in the sporting goods world, let alone the manufacturing world. I had only a tiny bit of money, and there certainly were no investors or banks lining up to give me theirs. I had no business plan. I'd maxed out 5 credit cards. My father had actually passed away while I was a student here at the University of Maryland during my sophomore year. I had no specific mentor, no one to show me how it was done. There was no roadmap for me. But the one thing I did have, I had passion. And passion made that idea for that t-shirt become a reality. In the first year of Under Armour, I worked alone. Nearly 24 hours a day, focused and mildly obsessed with my passion to build a better t-shirt for football players. It wasn't long after starting when I realized that baseball and lacrosse players too loved this shirt. Then soon it was the girlfriends of lacrosse players who played on the women's team showed me that my company, my brand, and my passion was not limited to any one sport, let alone any one gender. Just 3 years into Under Armour, having set up shop in my grandmother's old home in a Georgetown row house basement to start, and then having moved my company to Baltimore, convincing 2 partners to join me, one of which was also a former Terp, and the 3 of us worked basically 7 days a week, from early in the morning until late at night. Those first couple of years, I personally drove in my car up and down and back and forth across the country, and my windshield cracked Ford Explorer more than or at least 100,000 miles, which is the equivalent of driving around the world 4 times, to meet with former teammates from high school, my prep school, or college that were now playing in the NFL, up to meet their equipment managers or those NFL or of collegiate teams that I knew. The team is to try to get them to actually take my product and to hold a shirt in their hands with the hope that they maybe might take a shot. They might just give me a chance. My partners and I made these shirts effectively ourselves. We heat pressed the logos, we packed boxes, we shipped them. In the first catalog, I even made the mistake of boasting that we were open 24 hours a day. True story. So we sometimes took orders at 3 a.m., a memory that my girlfriend at the time, who was of course a Maryland Terrapin, and now my wife, could never forget. Writing orders from California on the back of a magazine because there wasn't a decent pad of paper next to the bed at Grandma's house in Georgetown. Looking back on that, I think, man, how focused I was on my business. But also how sad it is that my wife's chief memory of our 20s at 3 a.m. was writing orders for small, stretchy t-shirts. But we did all of this because we were passionate about what we did, passionate about the product, and ultimately knew that that passion is what would possibly turn our one basic shirt into the possibility and power of becoming a brand. But that meant perfecting the product, perfecting it, making one great shirt over and over and over again, truly perfecting it. In fact, for the first 5 years, we made and refined that first product dozens of times, making it perfect before we simply went on to the next one. We had focus. And it was our focus that helped establish Under Armour as a brand. We believe we could help athletes perform better. I like to think that our passion showed through to others, and that it was the reason that people took a chance on us and bought the shirts. Passion is the reason that the dorm room idea became a company, and at least equally as important, ultimately became a brand called Under Armour. Now I want to make one thing clear. Passion is not emotion, and please don't confuse the two. Emotions control us, but we control passion. Passion is not a hashtag. It's defined by conviction. Passion is the single most important thing you can have in your life going forward. Passion for your religion, passion for your family and friends, passion for your country and beliefs, passion for your career or your job. It doesn't matter what you majored in, business, theater, English, chemistry, environmental studies, you're going to need passion for whatever you decide you're going to do next 2016. Passion is everything. In spirit, in life, and in business, it comes first. Passion just always comes first. So what does it mean to have passion? I've got a few thoughts for you. Passion means finding a way. You've come from all over the world to this amazing university to pursue your dreams. Maybe you came here because you wanted to be a doctor or a business person or a writer or a movie maker or a lawyer. I came here like you, but my vision was being a student athlete. Coming out of high school, my dream was to play football in college. I had a few problems, though. I was undersized and not quite so fast. And not one other than 107 Division I college football teams in the country offered me a scholarship. But with offers to attend some of the best football schools in the country as a walk-on, meaning you paid your way and earned a spot on the team, let alone a scholarship, I made that critical decision in my life that this is where I wanted to plant my roots and attend college. Do you remember that decision point, class of 2016? Do you remember that moment when you decided, I'm going to Maryland? When you finally said yes, that was it. I decided to come here. I decided to come to Maryland because it was perfect for me. It balanced my love of sport with my love of learning, with my love of home. So I came home. I came to Maryland. Now, as an athlete, when I got here, it didn't take too long for me to realize that I was surrounded by players who were much more physically talented than I was. I'd played running back and linebacker in high school, but the guys here at this level were like really, really good. So I then committed fully to my goal of getting on the field and earning a scholarship, going through every drill and practice as if my hair was on fire, living life for the recognition of things like Scout Team Player of the Week, lifting extra weights, being a good person in the locker room to my teammates and the staff that supported us. And it was in that locker room when I realized that these giant, fast people around me who also played these real positions like linebacker and running back that I played in high school was going to be a real stretch for me. So I focused on something called special teams. Now, in truth, Coach Durkin will tell you this, nobody really wants to play special teams. It's what you're left with when you don't exactly make the offense or defense. I effectively made the team by becoming the wedge buster on special teams kickoff coverage. Now, it wasn't very glamorous, and no, I was never exactly a star, but I had to find a way onto that field, some way, somehow, because it was my passion to be on that field. And that was all that mattered to me. I wound up playing 43 games for the Terps. I earned a scholarship after my second year and ultimately became the captain of the special teams my senior year. That experience truly stamped me for life. At some point in your life, no matter what you do, you're going to find yourself in a similar position, I guarantee it. You're going to be surrounded by people who are smarter or faster than you are, have more experience than you do, more money, and at that moment, you too are going to simply have to find a way. And you're going to have to do it with passion. Your own will to somehow find a way will define you. It'll define you one way or another. Passion also means being entrepreneurial in anything that you do. There's nothing worse than somebody or something being described as disruptive or a game changer or the Uber of. Anybody here starting an Uber of company right now? You've heard them. These buzzwords have become so cliched, so overused, they really don't even mean anything anymore. And unfortunately, I think the word entrepreneur has also fallen into that deep hole. So I'd like to try to dig it out today. Let's go back to the original meaning. Entrepreneur. The word, it literally means a bearer of risk. It describes a person who has an idea or ideas and is ready and willing to take the risk of acting on them. I think one of the most important things that you can do now at the start of this newest, greatest chapter in your life is to recognize that you are an entrepreneur. Because, well, you are. You just are. We all have ideas. We all are the authors of our own stories. We can all make ourselves better. We can all make those around us better. We all take risks. Think about it. No matter what you choose to do in life, if you start your own company, if you go to work for a company, if you go to work for someone else, if you go to law school, become a doctor, a nurse, a veterinarian, a social worker, a teacher, the principles of entrepreneurship are already in place with that journey. And frankly, if you buy into what I'm saying, I believe they'll actually help you succeed. It goes even deeper than that. Entrepreneurship is not just about your job, it's about your everyday life. You may be sitting there right now thinking about how you're going to save up enough money to buy your first car. You might be thinking about how you're going to go make that money for that car. You might be thinking about how you're going to convince mom and dad tonight at dinner to buy you that car. You may be thinking about asking that guy or that girl out on the first date. You may be thinking about something as simple as how to get a ride to a party later tonight, or something as big as how to get the best deal on your first apartment. We face entrepreneurial tasks every single day. We face that risk. And every time we do, we push for something. Every time we risk something. It's part of everything we do. 20 years ago, I would have said there is no more idea more fundamentally American than being an entrepreneur. So now, 20 years in, and with more, or as I said earlier, less information, at least that I knew about then than when I graduated, my perspective has changed. Is that, frankly, there is nothing more global than being an entrepreneur. It's the most desired export that we have as a nation, and rightfully so. So let's protect it, but more importantly, let's go build it. So here's a golden rule I'd like for all of us to follow. To be an entrepreneur, you have to support other entrepreneurs. 11 years ago, I started a competition here at Maryland with the Dingman Center and the School of Business called Cupid's Cup to encourage and support student entrepreneurship. This year, our winner took home a $75,000 first place prize, and it's a UMCP company called Java Zen who are reinventing a new version of coffee. I thought I'd get a cheap clap for that. Mixed with tea for a pick-me-up that both tastes and is better for you than your typical morning Joe. But supporting other entrepreneurs can really be as simple as this. I love this one. You know that lemonade stand that you drive by sometimes where you see the kids in the neighborhood or on the side of the road? Well, here's my challenge. The next time that you see one, whenever you see one, stop. Stop whatever you're doing and go directly to it. Buy tons of lemonade, talk to the kids, encourage them, ask questions, and celebrate them. After all, they're just like you. They're entrepreneurs. Passion also means seizing your opportunities. Here's another story from my time at Maryland. In my first 2 years as a football player here, I didn't have a scholarship and I needed money. So I tended bar, I bounced at a bar, I shoveled snow, I worked construction, I waited tables, I parked cars, I sold t-shirts and bracelets to stoners at Grateful Dead shows that came through town. There was no task too small. After all, I needed the money. So when I finally got my scholarship, there was still not enough money to get through being just a regular college kid. And NCAA rules prohibited me from taking a job, but there was no rule against starting your own business. So in February of my second year, I started Cupid's Valentine Rose Delivery right here in my South Hill dorm room. My first year in business, we sold 100 dozen roses, then 250, then 650. By my senior year, I had a credit card machine in my room, 40 drivers and delivering, and 5 operators locked in, working the phones and taking orders, of course, upselling. You know, for just $10 more, we could put that in a vase. I'd expanded, but probably a little too much that senior year. We sold 1,186 dozen roses. grossed over $50,000 in a single day, made $17,000 in profit. That frankly could have been more. As my goal that year was to expand into DC and the surrounding colleges to actually sell 1,500 dozen flowers. But lessons learned, and I still remember as I watched 314 dozen or 3,768 unsold flowers die from missed or unsold deliveries, I'd realized that I'd shot too far. So I've kept 2 key lessons from that experience with me to this day. First, if avoidable, never ever deal in live inventory. It's tough listening to a co-ed complain that they got dumped over a wilty rose, number one. And while UA shirts and shoes certainly have personality, they can't die on delivery. And second, ensure that everyone, graduates, that you go to work with can count to 12. I seized every opportunity that I could, from the snow shoveling to the bartending, the t-shirt selling, the car parking, to the rose delivery. That $17,000 from the rose business became the seed money for Under Armour. Literally, every single thing that I did over those years, while a student and the few after, are what exactly has led me to standing before you some 20 years later. What led to all that, and the reason, again, was passion. Passion also means developing and maintaining personal relationships. Look around you right now. Some of the people here today, they may just well be your friends, but more importantly, they could very well be the resources and the assets that you need to go forward in your life professionally. Under Armour was a really good idea to reinvent that t-shirt, but little do people know, it was more about the network of friends that I'd created and that I ultimately ended up reaching out to who'd gone on to play in other sports, at other colleges, and some professionally. My initial goal was as much about accessing the 50 to 60 friends that I'd made through high school, prep school, and then here at Maryland that were now playing professionally in the NFL. So I simply asked for their help. I sent them each 3 shirts and said, please try this. And if you like it, give one to each guy in the locker next to you. And if you want to order more, tell your equipment guy because I can actually charge him money. It worked. That network of friends that I had from here worked. My founding partner at Under Armour, who's still with me today and driving and leading at Under Armour, 19 years in the making, is a guy named Kip Fulks, who was a lacrosse player here at the University of Maryland. The face of Under Armour was a former Terp named Eric Abagu, who spent 8 years in the NFL, and certainly the last 20 as my friend, partner, and the front man of Under Armour, better known as Big E, or the guy from the Protect This House commercials. Our first intern at UA, translation, at that time, free labor for college credit, was Tori Hanna, a 2-time lacrosse All-American and 4-time national champion for the Terps. In 2000, a guy named Jamie Bragg, another former Maryland football teammate of mine, who today is responsible for all the uniforms that get built, from the Maryland basketball teams to Tottenham Hotspur, the pitches of the EPL. Jamie had a great job when I called him. I think it was actually 1999. He was working at GE, and I wanted him to work at Under Armour. My pitch was simple and honest. I told him, I want to cut your salary by 2/3, take away your expense account, your company car, your 401k, and your health benefits. But I promise we're going to have a great time, and I really think we can win. And then I added, the only thing I ask is that we get to go out for one final dinner on your GE expense account. Oh, we did. And then Jamie became the 8th employee at Under Armour. And I knew Jamie and I trusted him. He put his trust in me. And I remember when he told his mother that he was taking this job, she said to him that he was crazy to leave GE for Armor All. Everything happens for a reason. Passion also means not embracing failure. I was at a conference recently with some Silicon Valley startup types. At one point in the conference, they began talking about how much money their companies were actually losing. They were almost bragging about it and laughing, and somehow they got the audience to go around along with it, and everybody was laughing and chuckling. I remember sitting there thinking to myself, wow, this just isn't right. Somewhere along the line in our society, it became okay to fail often. I'm just telling you, it's not okay. Losing money is a habit, and so is making money. And I say that not in some greedy, capitalistic way. I say it because making money creates jobs. It pays for your kids' college tuition, pays for your retirement. It pays taxes that help the poor and educate our youth. It allows you to give back. And yes, you can also learn valuable life lessons from success. So use your passion to go win your first job. Then go win your next job. You let the other gal or guy, let them go lose for their company. You go win for yours. As one of my directors once told me, no one has ever won a horse race by yelling, "Whoa!" Come on, 16, you got to go. And finally, passion means embracing the role of the underdog. People often ask me what our secret sauce is when it comes to selecting our athletes. We've had a good run lately. It's really fairly simple. We look for people who are like us. Under Armour athletes, they all share some very common traits. Each and every one of them are better people than they are athletes. And they also believed in themselves, even when no one else did. They were once big underdogs, and they never, ever forget that, and they'll always think of themselves that way. 4 years ago, we had a pretty epic signing year. We signed 3 underdogs in particular that, frankly, no one in this room had probably ever heard of before. And recently, they've all begun to make a bit of noise. The first was a golfer from the University of Texas. He had a pretty good career as an amateur, and we rushed to sign him. And just months after we did, he failed to qualify for the PGA Tour. But his belief in himself never, ever wavered. He worked himself onto the tour through a few sponsor exemptions that year and won his first PGA tournament at 19 years old, a record that had stood for over 70 years. And just last year, he won both the Masters and the US Open. The second athlete began her ballet career in a Los Angeles YMCA at the age of 4. A little girl with a big dream. It didn't come easy, though. She moved constantly as a young girl and even lived with her mother in a motel for 2 years as she grinded day in and day out to try to make her dream come true. She then got an invite to New York City and seized the opportunity. When she got there, though, she was told that ballerinas didn't look like her. But she persisted anyway. Last year, against all odds, she became the first African-American woman to be promoted to the American Ballet Theater's principal dancer role in that organization's 75-year history. The third athlete was a basketball player. God, who am I thinking of? Who coming out of high school was shunned by his father's alma mater because he was deemed too short. When he declared for the NBA draft, they told him the same thing, too short, too slight. Well, last year, this guy won the NBA's MVP award and led his team to the NBA championship. This year, he won the NBA's MVP again, unanimously, breaking a record that has stood that's never happened before. He's been credited with transforming the game of basketball, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, he's doing more than that. Jordan Spieth, Misty Copeland, and Stephen Curry represent the essence and spirit of Under Armour. They embody passion. And yes, even with all of their success, they each and every one of them still see themselves as underdogs. But differently than maybe the way others think of them. Underdogs who never, ever, 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 ever stopped believing in themselves. So, to the University of Maryland class of 2016, I'm going to leave you with this. You're going to be told things like that you're entering an uncertain world, that jobs are scarce, there's little chance you're going to attain the livelihoods of the generation that preceded you, that there's ominous threats overseas, and that there's civil unrest here at home. But let me leave you with this. Ignore the noise. Have faith in yourself. Recognize that you are an entrepreneur. And go buy some lemonade. Go buy lots of lemonade. Go out in the world and make it a better place. Go make yourselves proud. Go make yourselves proud. And in doing that, you're going to go make us proud. Let your passion lead the way for all of it. Congratulations to you all. Thank you all very, very much. God bless America, and go Terps!
Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin Plank, for that inspirational speech. I would like to welcome President Lowe so we could give you a little memento to thank you and help you remember this occasion. So.
It's testudo.
So President Lowe has a very good tradition of taking a selfie with the commencement speaker as well. So could we welcome you back to the stage for a selfie?
Why don't you do it?
Okay, I'll do it.
This way?
Yep.
No. We want to show.
Okay, ready?
The other way.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
We're
Yes,
gonna get
yes,
everyone in it. Okay, let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good? We got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Kevin, thank you for that incredible speech, that amazing commencement speech that we will not forget about passion. And thank you, Brenda, for taking that selfie. Now, what are you going to do with it? You're going to send it to me? Well, tweet it. Tweet it out right now. And then I'll retweet your... And now I'd like to call on Wanda Alexander, President of the University of Maryland Alumni Association, to welcome our graduates to the Alumni Association.
All right, Kevin, thank you for making this a little difficult. That was absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much. So now I can stand here and say to my fellow passion-filled entrepreneurs who are getting ready to go out and change the world, congratulations. It is truly an honor for me to stand here and officially welcome you, each and every one of you, to the Alumni Association at the University of Maryland, College Park. And as I sit here and look over this crowd and I look at my new best friends from the class of 1966, and I look at my new best friends from the class of 2016, and I've never seen a more beautiful bridge in my life. It's hard to follow Kevin's words because they were just the basis of truth. It's what I know to be the truth in my own life. But beginning today, I want to add to what he said and let you know for the rest of your life, you are going to be a part of an amazing network of powerful, elected, life-changing, fun, and hard-working alumni. We are more than 340,000 strong, passion-filled Terps. Many of these terrapins that I'm speaking of, and many of them you know, many of them are you, have risen to the highest levels of their industries, launched hugely successful companies, and made groundbreaking discoveries. Some recent examples: we have a veteran movie producer and alumni named Stacy Shear, who has spent more than 2 decades working with notable directors on acclaimed films such as Aaron Brockovich, Pulp Fiction. Was that Django or Django Unchained? I didn't see it, so I might have messed that up. And most recently, The Hateful Eight, all by Quentin Tarantino. We have former Terp basketball stars Lynetta Kaiser and Marissa Coleman, who went to the WNBA Finals this past October as members of the Indiana Fever. Coleman, in her 7th season as a pro, was named a 2015 All-Star. And lawyer and alumnus Jim Clifford swam across the English Channel last September, making him, are you ready for it, at age 63, the oldest male to complete the Triple Crown of completing that feat, circling Manhattan Island and crossing from Catalina Island to Long Beach, California. Talk about passion. Stacy, Lynetta, Marissa, Jim, Kevin, Wanda are just a few examples of the University of Maryland alumni who are living up to our fearless legacy. Trust me when I tell you this. Listen carefully. You too will one day leave a path of greatness for others to follow. Class of 1966, class of 2016, evidence. Your single first step to such a lasting contribution is becoming a member of the University of Maryland Alumni Association. We are here to help you, we are here to serve you, and we will help you by staying active through tailgates, performances, happy hours, career networking events. Stay connected with Maryland and all of these friends. I still have friends that I cultivated, friendships I cultivated on this campus. You will too. We'll help you to stay connected with all of the friends you've made on this campus through your membership, and we will keep you informed through social media. Did you tweet that picture yet? Okay. And alumni publications like Terp Magazine. So I want to make an agreement with you today, if you don't mind. As you leave here, promise to display your degree proudly and continue the tradition of demonstrating to the world the high-quality education it represents. And I promise you that in turn, Maryland will continue to make you proud to be a Terp. So stop by our Alumni Association hospitality tent over the next couple of days and have that great photo taken with the Testudo statue and rub his nose as you move on to the next season in your life. And remember, no matter where you go in life, show up as you, boo, and stay fearless. Congratulations.
Thank you, Wanda, and thank you for your service in leading the 340,000 graduates of this university. The late Supreme Court Justice, Thurgood Marshall, said that none of us got to where we are solely by pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. You graduates are talented and dedicated. You worked hard. We are proud of you. But talented and dedicated as you are, nobody is entirely self-made. Somebody bent down, helped you put on your boots, taught you how to tie your boots. And because of that person or persons, parents, relatives, friends, spouses, because of one or more of them, you are here today. So this is what I'd like you to do, what I'd like to ask you to do. We'll have to choreograph this. First, we're going to have the parents and families, don't do this yet, but have them stand up. Secondly, after they have all stood up, I want the graduates to stand up, turn around and face them and cheer. And thirdly, while that is going on, while our graduates are cheering, the band will play a salute. All right? So, will the parents and family and friends please stand up? Will the graduates please stand up and salute them? Thank you. You may be seated. We come now to the moment you've been waiting for, when the deans of the respective colleges will recognize you for the presentation of the degrees. And I'm going to ask each dean to step forward one at a time, introduce himself or herself, introduce their college with their usual flair, exuberance, rhetorical flourish, as befits the occasion. And of course, I invite the graduates to stand up and cheer when your college is announced.
Dr. Lowe, thank you. Will the students in the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources please stand? My name is Craig Beiruti, and I have the privilege of serving as the dean of our oldest college on campus, the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, and I'm honored to represent our faculty and staff on this stage today. I would say that one of the proudest moments that I ever had was when I was offered a position here at the University of Maryland. Probably one of the greatest regrets that I have is that I never graduated from the University of Maryland. So students, this is truly a privilege. Students, you are graduating from an institution chartered 160 years ago, originally named the Maryland Agriculture College. You may not know this, but the University of Maryland at College Park is a proud member of an elite system of institutions found nowhere else in the world, the land-grant system, where the world's brightest minds have assembled to prepare each of you for an exciting and impactful career. Our college couldn't be more proud of you, our graduates, who have dedicated your lives to eliminate hunger, to protect and conserve our natural resources, and to ensure we have a roof over our heads, clothes on our backs, and food in our stomachs. There is no nobler profession than the ones that you've chosen, graduates. Congratulations to our newest college alums, and go Terps.
Good evening. I'm David Cronrath, Dean of the School of Architecture, Planning, and Preservation. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the people who will plan the communities that you will live in, who will build the buildings that you will inhabit, and they will be beautiful, that will make sure that heritage is protected so that there is continuity through time where you live. And last but not least, they'll finance the whole thing for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates of the School of Architecture, Planning, and Preservation.
Good evening. I'm Bonnie Thornton-Dill. I'm a professor of women's studies and the proud dean of the College of Arts and Humanities. affectionately known as RHU. RHU students know what it means to embrace risk. They have had the courage to follow their passions, to study those things that are the most important and compelling questions of humankind. They are therefore prepared to go out into the world because they have the skills and talents that employers seek in the 21st century. They write well, they read critically, they listen actively, they communicate effectively, and they think and act creatively. They're culturally aware and linguistically adept. They are world-wise. And because of all these wonderful things, 95% of last year's graduates were placed in jobs, graduate school, service programs, or started their own business. Graduates have a lot to be proud of. So if you are RHU, please stand and cheer your successes. All right.
My name is Gregory Ball, and I am proud to be the Dean of the College of Behavioral and Social Sciences at the University of Maryland, College Park. Over 50 years ago, in 1963, President Kennedy gave a commencement address in which he pointed out that the most serious problems facing our society today are made by humans, so we better damn well fix them. The College of Behavioral and Social Sciences, or BSAW, studies the origins of these human-produced problems, whether they be economic, political, social, cultural, geographic, psychological, or ethnic in nature. We use state-of-the-art quantitative methods but respect qualitative investigations. Our graduates are ready now to go out and solve these problems. We want to be the solution. And so I say to my graduates, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations.
I'm Alex Trianis, the proud Dean of the Robert H. Smith School of Business. Would the graduates please rise? As Kevin Plank told you, 20 years ago, he was sitting right where you were sitting. Technically speaking, he was actually not here. He was in Cold Field House. And he got a little distracted during the ceremony and thought, someday I could do something really interesting with this place. Usually, I tell the graduates, I encourage them to be fearless leaders who will go out with an entrepreneurial spirit, a global mindset, all the skills that we've taught you to solve difficult business problems, and to do so with integrity and, of course, passion. This time, I'll keep it pretty simple and just say, go be Kevin Plank.
I'm Robert Infantino, Associate Dean of our campus's largest college. Would the candidates from the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences please stand? Dean Banavar and I are so proud of those standing before you, the scientists who are going to change our world. They'll improve human health and save lives. They'll improve our understanding and stewardship of the physical world, planet Earth, and the universe. And they will create the innovative technologies of our future. Congratulations, graduates.
Good evening, everyone. And I'm Donna Wiseman, the Dean of the College of Education. And Listen, I am so proud of our graduates who teach, who lead, who counsel and research in our schools, in our universities, and in our communities. You know what? Our graduates are fearless in promoting learning, teaching, and social and emotional development that will help children, youth, and adults in our communities and our society perform at the highest level possible. So, come on, grads. Will the 2016 spring graduates of the College of Education stand up and be congratulated and recognized?
I am Dean Darrell Pines of the A. James Clark School of Engineering. Will the graduates please rise? Dr. Lowe and Mr. Plank, these engineers have passion and they're fearless. They will be the ones that will bring you clean energy. They will bring you wearable devices for Under Armour's next generation of gear. They will solve health by building biomedical devices. And finally, Coach Durkin, they will provide you new gloves that have super sticky hands so they can catch the football. They're already working on it. You know about Grip Boost, right? In the words of the late Jim Clark, he would say to you, we are engineers and we have passion and we must solve today's problems for the people of tomorrow. Congratulations, Terps, and let's go get them.
Thank you for the citation. I'm Jane Clark, and I am the proud Dean of the School of Public Health. Will our graduates stand? I present to you the graduates. Noisy. Our graduates will work with all the graduates from our other wonderful colleges, from ag to engineering, from education to public policy, from the iSchool to journalism, from science to business to BSOS, behavioral and social sciences, and of course, our graduates will engage those in the arts and humanities, architecture and design. Because if we, as public health people, professionals, want to achieve our goal of a healthy people on a healthy planet, then we need all of our graduates to help us. So they're standing already, right? I can't see you. And Wallace stole my punchline, but I want to just, being a compulsive double underliner, I just want to make this point again. This is brought to you by the, as a public health service announcement. Sitting is the new smoking. However, I want to tell you a 4-year-old's interpretation of that. The 4-year-old, having heard that, said, you'll get, by watching television, you'll get lung cancer. Think about it. Well, he got parts of it right. He understood sitting was sedentary, and he got the fact that smoking caused lung cancer. He just sort of missed the part about being physically active. So I, again, applaud you all, the students in the School of Public Health.
I'm Brian Butler, the proud dean of the College of Information Studies, or UMD's iSchool. Will the graduates from the College of Information Studies please rise? There you go. While small in number, you will find in this group some of the greatest risk takers and the most audacious people you will ever meet. They believe, as archivists, that they can create information resources and institutions that will last decades and as centuries, and set the tone and the kinds of history that we can learn in the future. They believe that providing books and resources for children in underprivileged or under-resourced communities that they can change the direction of their lives. They believe that by using technology and information, the people in the back office can shift the direction of businesses, making things possible that other people can't even imagine. And they believe with things as mundane as a smartphone or an iPad or an Oculus Rift, you can create experiences and technologies that make information available not just for those of us in the room that have full physical capabilities, but for everyone. I give to you the proud graduates of the College of Information Studies at the University of Maryland.
Good evening. I'm Lucy Dalglish, the very proud Dean of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism. Thank you for following directions. Merrill College graduates are thorough, creative reporters. They have cutting-edge digital skills. They have strong ethical compasses. They think on their feet and they meet deadlines. And they have already covered conventions and elections, urban health disparities, clean water initiatives, the criminal justice system, human trafficking, legalization of marijuana, and a host of other topics. Our graduates are entering the journalism profession with the experience and wherewithal to provide all of us with the information we need to make decisions about who will lead us, how our tax dollars will be spent, and how we are all going to live together in a vibrant, multicultural society. Will Merrill College's class of 2016 please stand and be recognized?
Good evening. I am Bob Orr, the very proud Dean of the School of Public Policy. Will the candidates for the School of Public Policy please stand and be recognized? These students before you have themselves helped to negotiate a historic global climate change agreement. These students have also advised governments and nonprofits from Prince George's County to Washington to New Delhi to Beijing. These graduates have founded new social ventures to end hunger and stop human trafficking. These graduates have worked to help refugees and prevent a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. And that's all before they graduated. And now they go into the world to find more solutions and to scale them to match the needs. They will not only do well, they will do good. Congratulations, Policy Terps.
Good evening. I'm Charles Caramello, and I am the Dean of the Graduate School. Before I say something about graduate students, let me congratulate all of the undergraduates here on your achievement. The University of Maryland is both a Research One university and a land-grant university. And that means at least two things. First, it means that we have as our signature degree the PhD, the Doctor of Philosophy. It is the degree that is about creating new knowledge and creating the next generation of knowledge producers. It also means that we offer many professional master's degrees and doctorate degrees whose purpose is to apply knowledge for the betterment of the world and for the creation of the next generation of leaders. So first, would all the students receiving doctorates in all of the disciplines please stand? And now, Would all the students receiving master's degrees please join them? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm William Cohen, Dean for Undergraduate Studies. The Office of Undergraduate Studies sponsors programs that reach almost every student. We oversee the Honors College, College Park Scholars, the Academic Achievement Programs, Letters and Sciences, and many other programs that extend across the whole campus, including the General Education Program through which all undergraduates take classes in a variety of subjects. Today, we recognize those graduates for whom the 90 majors offered at this university did not suffice. These fearless students designed their own rigorous interdisciplinary majors in the individual studies program. Would the passionate bachelor degree recipients in individual studies majors please rise to be recognized?
Good evening. My name is Gary White. I'm the Associate Dean of the University Libraries. We're fortunate at the University of Maryland to have one of the largest and best research library systems in the country. Would all of the graduates tonight who have ever used the library please stand and be recognized?
I am delighted to see that no graduate was seated. Well, thank you, deans. We are really blessed with extraordinary deans at this university. They are the front lines of education and research and innovation. And so now, the moment has arrived. The moment when you are officially authorized to receive your degrees. So let me just take a couple of minutes to explain what these diplomas mean. And perhaps this is primarily for the benefit of, family and friends who are here. So this is what these diplomas mean. When you were in high school, and you thought that you knew everything that there was to know, your high school gave you a diploma. Then you came to college. And sometime during the time that you were here in college, you realized that you know very little, that there's so much more you need to learn. When that realization dawned upon you, that is when you have the right to earn a bachelor's degree. Now, if you decide to hang around a little bit longer and go to graduate school, and then someday it will dawn upon you that not only you know very little, but your professors also know very little. That is when the university bestows upon you the PhD degree. Because after all, what is education but the progressive discovery of our own ignorance? As the poet Yeats said, education is not about the filling of a pail, filling it with facts and knowledge and figures. Education is about lighting a flame. It's igniting a passion for learning that will last you a lifetime. And if we have done our jobs as teachers, because we're in the immortality business, you will be a student for life. So with that as background, the two senior officials of this university will officially authorize the awarding of your degrees. It is the provost and the president. Now, before the provost stands up, who's seated there, How many of you know what a provost is? I don't see any hands going up. Well, so let me just take half a minute to explain. The provost is the chief academic officer, the second in command at this university. Now, why is that position called provost? So if you look into the history of that word in the English language, did you know that the first time the word provost appears in the English language, it was used by Shakespeare in 1600 in a play called Measure for Measure. And the provost was the chief guardian of the prison. So the second in command at the University of Maryland is, in effect, the warden of the University of Maryland. It tells you something, right? And then, of course, you got the president. Most people have no idea what the president does. And I remember at an alumni function, this alumnus comes up to me and says, well, so you're in charge of 38,000 students. You're in charge of almost 10,000 faculty and staff. You're in charge of a budget of almost $2 billion a year. So you are like the CEO of a large corporation. Not as large as Under Armour, but... Well, I had to disabuse that alumnus. I said, me in charge of the students?
Mr. President, in accordance with the recommendation of the faculties of the schools and colleges, and in recognition of the successful completion of all degree requirements, I request that you confer upon these candidates the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Landscape Architecture, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Music Education, Bachelor of Science, Master of Applied Anthropology, Master of Architecture, Master of Arts, Master of Business Administration, Master of Chemical and Life Sciences, Master of Community Planning, Master of Education, Master of Engineering, Master of Engineering and Public Policy, Master of Finance, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Health Administration, Master of Historic Preservation, Master of Information Management, Master of Journalism, Master of Landscape Architecture, Master of Library Science, Master of Music, Master of Professional Studies, Master of Public Health, Master of Public Management, Master of Public Policy, Master of Real Estate Development, Master of Science, Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Education, Doctor of Musical Arts, and Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations, University of Maryland graduates of 2016. Go Terps. Mr. President.
You may be seated. I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation upon the authority granted by the state of Maryland to the Board of Regents of the University System of Maryland and by the authority that the board has delegated to me. I am thrilled to confirm upon you, the candidates, the degrees as appropriate in each of your case. Please join me in another round of applause for today's graduates. I would now like to ask all the graduating seniors on the platform to please come up and to lead your classmates in the long-standing tradition that recognizes the receipt of the degrees.
Alrighty, so on the count of 3, we're gonna switch our tassel from the right to the left. Can I get a drum roll, please? Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. Woo!
We have a lot of people here, friends, family members of the graduates. I'm just curious, in the audience here, how many of you graduated from the University of Maryland? If you graduated, would you please stand up? Wow, that's a lot of Terps here. I would say 25, 30%. So what are we going to do with all the others who did not graduate? Well, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I tonight appoint you honorary Terps. We are all Terps tonight. In a few moments, Ms. Davidson and the Maryland Wind Ensemble will lead us in the singing of the alma mater. And those words can be found on page 5 of your commencement program. But before we begin, I would like to remind you of the words. I will read the words. I will not sing because just like I'm not good at math or geography, I'm not good at singing either. I will read the words of the alma mater, and when I raise my fist in pride and solidarity with you, with all the Terps, when I raise my fist, I want you to yell as loudly as you can so that the walls of Xfinity shake. I want you to yell, Maryland. Hail, alma mater. Hail to thee. I think it can be a little bit louder. Steadfast in loyalty, we stand for love for the black and gold. Deep in our hearts we hold. Singing thy praise forever throughout. Go Terps, go! Please stand for the singing of the alma mater.
Stand
Please be seated. We now come to the conclusion of Commencement 2016. And I will ask that the audience please remain seated until the faculty and the platform party have recessed. And I'd like to remind you, of course, that the smaller, more intimate commencements for the various colleges are being held tomorrow and Friday. You can check your program for times and locations. And these smaller events are really very intimate, and I really miss them because this is a chance for the graduates to actually walk across the stage and shake the hand of whoever is presiding at those events, typically a dean. And I grow nostalgia for it because once upon a time I was the dean of a law school. And at some alumni event many years later, this graduate comes up to me and says, "Dean Lowe, do you remember me? I graduated 15 years ago. I walked across the stage to shake your hand and get my diploma. And you leaned over and you whispered something in my ear that's been the secret to my success in life." Oh, so what did I say? Hurry along, hurry along. Well, you know, it's 9:25. I know you want to move along. But after the ceremony, I'm going to be at the pavilion. You all know where the pavilion is. It's somewhere on this first floor. That's where the wrestling team and the volleyball team play. Some of you may have been assembling there. And I will be there. I'll be there as long as necessary. I'll be happy, I'll be honored to shake your hand and take a selfie with you and give you a baby turtle pin if you haven't received one yet. And for the parents and friends who are here, just in case you don't know about this little gold terrapin pin, which cost me about 65 cents to purchase, can only be gotten from me. You cannot buy it anywhere else. So that means that that pin is invaluable. That means it's worth a lot of money. How much is it worth? Well, for those few students, and I'm somewhat disappointed at them, who've taken that turtle pin and placed it on eBay, it is now going for $18. So if you get one, I beseech you, do not sell it. It's going to be worth much, much more in the years ahead. So I'd like to conclude by quoting from a saying from Asia. If you want 1 year of prosperity, invest in rice. If you want 10 years of prosperity, invest in trees. If you want 100 years of prosperity, invest in people. We invest in people by providing the education that we provide at the University of Maryland. And those of you who follow me on Twitter, at President Lowe, you know that 2 weeks ago, I invited you to tweet me and describe your experience at the University of Maryland in 6 words or less. And I promised you that I will read them to you tonight. Now, I got lots and lots. We don't have time to read all of them, but there's about a handful or so I do want to share with you because it shows why we must invest in people. Anita Nejat from Bethesda. This is what she wrote, or what she tweeted. I explored, I learned, I transformed. Jesse Karangu. My life and outlook changed forever. Alexander Jonesi. Black, gold, red and white, or die. E. Honey, that's her handle. E. Honey wrote, "Wow, my dreams did come true." Shadra Sahari, the best home away from home. Lion Babe. Lion Babe tweeted, "The place where I found myself." Pranay, fastest 4 years of my life. And finally, and I have to conclude with this one from Sarah Blum. I know she's seated somewhere in the front row. Because she did not make a statement, she sent me a question at President Lowe. And this was her question to me. Why are you making me graduate? So let me conclude by answering your question, Sarah. And I will conclude by reciting in part the immortal words of my favorite philosopher, Dr. Seuss, who, as you know, wrote for children of all ages. Oh, the places you'll go. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer anywhere, in any direction you choose. So now you are on your own. You know what you know. You decide where to go. And sadly, it is true. You know, hang-ups will happen to you. There'll be times when you mix up your right foot with your left foot, or your right shoe with the left shoe. There'll be times when your arms are sore and when your sneakers leak. But always remember, you are a TERP. That little turtle, the terrapin that you find all along Chesapeake Bay, has, as you know, a very distinctive quality or characteristic. That turtle only moves forward. It does not walk backwards. And how does the terrapin move forward? One step at a time, sticking its neck out. To be a TERP is a state of mind. It's an attitude. It is, as Kevin Plank said, a passion. It is all about knowing where you want to go there with passion, and persevere. Never give up, never give in. One step at a time, going forward, sticking your neck out. So, to Sarah Blum and all those who may have asked the same question, here's my answer. Will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. You have succeeded already. You are a TERP. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. God bless you, and Godspeed. And go Terps!